if I told you to navigate out of this really dense, overgrown forest using a map that was, I mean, literally only 12 words long, you'd probably tell me it's impossible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you'd say you need topography, coordinates.
Right, a legend.
Yeah, that little red star that says you are here.
Exactly. But today, we're going to prove that if you look closely enough at a single isolated sentence, it can actually reveal the exact psychological architecture of, well, of why you feel stuck in your life.
It really is a fascinating exercise in distillation, isn't it? I mean, we are taking a magnifying glass to a microtext to uncover this massive macro truth about human behavior.
That is exactly our mission for you today in this deep dive. It's highly unusual, and we are, like, incredibly focused today.
We really are.
We aren't looking at some dense textbook or a sprawling research paper.
Right.
We are analyzing a single provocative snippet of text.
Just one snippet.
Yeah, the source material is literally just this, and I'll read it slowly. Excerpts from Unlocking the Patterns of Stagnation. The real reason you feel stuck in life.
Just 12 words. But, you know, the author didn't just throw these words together casually to sound catchy.
No, I mean...
There is a highly deliberate, highly engineered framework in that one sentence.
So we are going to philosophically and linguistically and psychologically just tear those 12 words apart.
Break it all down.
Right. Because if we slow down, the implications packed into this title and subtitle, they can fundamentally reframe how you view your own obstacles.
Completely change your perspective.
Yeah. So, okay, let's unpack this. I want to jump right into the contrast between the main title and the subtitle. The text gives us two completely different ways to describe the core problem.
Yes, it does.
We have stagnation and we have feeling stuck.
You're hitting on the macro versus the micro there.
Right. Because, okay, stagnation sounds ecological. Like it sounds like a neglected pond covered in algae.
Or an economy that hasn't grown in a decade.
Exactly. It's a slow, passive, almost natural decay. It's very quiet. But then you contrast that with the phrase, you feel stuck in life. That is, I mean, that's visceral.
Oh, highly visceral.
It feels like spinning your car tires in thick mud. It is an active, exhausting, loud frustration, you know?
Yeah, there's a smell of burning rubber to it.
Yes. So why use both? Is stagnation the invisible environment we are sitting in, while feeling stuck is just the painful, everyday symptom we experience on a Tuesday morning?
I think that's exactly it. Stagnation is the systemic diagnosis, whereas feeling stuck is your localized pain.
Okay, localized pain.
Right. When a doctor says you have a systemic infection, that's clinical, that's the macro. But what you actually experience in your body is the fever and the chills.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
And by placing these two concepts right next to each other, the text is actually doing something highly validating for you as the reader.
Validating how?
Well, it takes your agonizing frustration, that spinning of the tires in the mud that you mentioned, and it contextualizes it. It tells you that your personal pain is actually part of a larger observable phenomenon.
So saying it's not just me.
Exactly. You aren't just broken. You are experiencing the psychological equivalent of a stalled ecosystem.
But let me push back on that for a second, because if I am in a dead-end job with a boss who micromanages me, or, you know, I'm in a city where I can't afford rent, my environment is the problem.
Sure.
My boss is the problem. How can we call this a systemic ecosystem when it feels so acutely like I just drove into a ditch?
Because driving into a ditch is an event. It's a single moment. Stagnation, on the other hand, is a state of equilibrium.
Equilibrium. But it feels terrible.
It does. And this brings us into the biology of how humans operate. Biological systems crave homeostasis.
Right, like body temperature.
Exactly. Your body and your brain want predictability. They want a stable baseline, even if that baseline is objectively miserable.
Wait, really? Even if it's miserable?
Oh, absolutely. So when you are in that dead-end job, you might hate it, but your brain knows the rules of that environment. It knows how to survive it.
Yeah, it knows what to expect on Monday morning.
Exactly. So stagnation isn't a failure of the system. In a weird, almost paradoxical way, it's your internal system doing its job too well.
Wow.
It has created a stable, predictable environment out of your misery.
Okay, that immediately lowers the temperature on the self-blame, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because if I'm just stuck, I feel like an idiot who took a wrong turn. Like it's my fault. But if I am experiencing stagnation as a form of psychological homeostasis, well, that's just a state of physics.
Right.
I'm just fighting biological gravity.
And framing it that way creates the objective distance you need. You can finally step out of the car, stop revving the engine, and actually look at the mud.
Look at the environment.
Yes, but the text doesn't stop at just identifying the environment. It tells us how that environment is maintained.
Yes, the hidden architecture. The patterns of
There's
stagnation.
patterns.
This word patterns really changes the game for me. We usually think of getting stuck as a sudden accident,
A one-time thing.
right? Like walking into a dead end in a maze. You take a left turn and boom, brick wall. But the word patterns implies repetition.
It implies design.
Exactly. It implies a sequence. So I guess my question is, if it's a pattern, are we accidentally walking in our own footprints in the dark? Or is human nature actively building these loops on purpose?
Well, what's fascinating here is that to answer that, we really have to look at the mechanics of human habits.
Okay.
A pattern requires structure, and more importantly, it requires energy to maintain.
Energy.
Yes. Think about neural pathways. Your brain automates repetitive behaviors into patterns to save energy down the line.
Right, so you don't have to think about every little thing.
Exactly. So when you encounter a stressor, your basal ganglia takes over and runs a pre-programmed script.
It just plays the tape.
It plays the tape.
Yeah.
So if you are experiencing a pattern of stagnation, it means your lack of forward momentum isn't due to an absence of movement.
Hold on. Stagnation isn't an absence of movement.
Not at all.
Wow.
It's a successfully executed, highly efficient, energy-saving loop.
I need to process that.
Think about a planet in orbit.
Okay.
That planet is moving incredibly fast. It's expending massive amounts of kinetic energy, but it is trapped in a cyclical pattern.
It's going around in a circle.
Right. Its geographic location relative to the star doesn't change. It goes nowhere new. So when the text points out the patterns of stagnation, it suggests that you are likely exhausting yourself.
Oh, man.
You are making decisions, you are reacting, you are worrying, you are working, but you are doing all of it in a highly structured orbit.
You're spinning the tires. You are burning gas. The speedometer says 60, but the car is just digging a deeper red.
Yes.
Okay, let's unpack this with another analogy. I'd argue it's kind of like a broken thermostat in a house.
Oh, I like that.
You expend a ton of energy trying to heat the house up. So, maybe you try a new diet, or you read a self-help book, you apply for a few jobs.
You turn up the heat.
Right. But the internal thermostat is programmed to shut off as soon as you hit 72 degrees. So the system forcibly cools you back down to your baseline. You expended energy, but you didn't change the climate.
That is a perfect mechanical analogy. The thermostat represents your tolerance for unfamiliarity.
My tolerance for unfamiliarity.
Okay. You generate enough heat to feel productive, but the moment that change threatens your baseline homeostasis, like we talked about earlier, the pattern kicks in and shuts the furnace off.
It just kills the heat.
And realizing this fundamentally shifts the paradigm. When you feel stuck, your first instinct is to just try harder.
Right. Push the gas pedal to the floor.
Exactly. But if you are trapped in a pattern, trying harder just feeds the system. The pattern literally feeds on your reactive energy.
So we aren't just sitting still on a bench. We are actively running a program we installed ourselves.
Yeah.
Convinced it's a staircase when it's really in orbit.
It's an orbit.
That is terrifying, honestly. But it's also weirdly comforting.
Because it reassigns your agency.
Exactly. It means I'm not just lazy. If I'm stuck in a pattern, I have energy, I have drive, I just have a corrupted navigational system.
You have a bug in the code.
Right. Understanding it as a structured loop completely removes the shame. It's not a moral failing or a defect in my character. It's a mechanical error. And, well, mechanical errors can be debugged.
Which is the exact pivot the source text wants you to make.
It wants us to debug it.
It wants you to stop viewing your situation as this, life sentence and start viewing it as a mechanism with specific rules. You aren't cursed, You are just caught in a loop.
Caught in a loop.
And that transitions us perfectly into how the author suggests we actually escape that loop.
Yes, which brings us to the second half of our 12 words. Unlocking and the real reason. And here's where it gets really interesting to me. I noticed the text deliberately does not use the word breaking or smashing or destroying the patterns.
No, it says unlocking.
It says unlocking. That feels like a very deliberate, almost delicate choice. Like, why not just tell us to smash through the barrier? If we are stuck in an orbit, shouldn't we use rocket boosters to just break out?
Because brute force rarely works on a highly reinforced psychological structure.
It just bounces off.
Let's stick with your thermostat analogy because it works perfectly here. If you want the house warmer, You don't take a baseball bat to the air vents.
No, you just ruin the house.
You don't try to outheat the air conditioner by lighting a fire in the middle of the living room.
Right.
That's brute force.
Yeah.
A lock implies logic. A lock is a device specifically designed to be opened, provided you have the right information.
It's like realizing you don't need to exhaust yourself swinging a heavy sledgehammer at a reinforced steel door.
Exactly.
The pattern is stronger than your brute force. You can swing until your hands bleed, but your brain will outlast your willpower every time.
It always does.
But unlocking that implies a keyhole. It means you just need to understand the internal mechanism of the lock. It requires a tiny, precise rotation.
And precision requires observation, not exertion.
Observation.
By using the word unlocking, the text is communicating that the barrier keeping you stuck is artificial. It has a built-in solution. You just don't have the blueprint for the tumblers yet.
So you have to figure out how it works.
If you approach your stagnation like a locksmith, you stop fighting the door and you start listening to the internal clicks.
Oh, I love that. You put your ear to the metal, you study the problem, you track the triggers that make the thermostat shut off.
Yes.
But, okay, practically speaking, what exactly are we listening for? What is the key?
Well, the subtitle hands us the key. It's the real reason. The text promises to reveal the real reason you feel stuck in life.
Which means there must be fake reasons.
Necessarily. If there is a quote-unquote real reason, it inherently implies that the narrative you have been telling yourself up until this very moment is false, or at least dangerously incomplete.
Wow, okay, that actually stings a bit.
It's meant to.
Because, I mean, when I feel stuck, I have a very polished, highly logical list of reasons ready to go.
We all do. I don't have enough time. The economy is terrible right now. My industry is shrinking. I have too many family obligations. I have bad luck.
Are you saying those are all fake?
I'm saying they are surface-level friction.
Friction, okay.
Now, those things might be factually true in your environment. The economy might actually be struggling. Your industry might be shrinking.
They aren't lies.
They aren't lies, but the text is daring you to accept that those external facts are not the real reason you are stuck in a behavioral pattern.
They aren't the root cause.
Right. Those external factors are just the weather. The real reason is the internal mechanism of the lock.
It's like the text is saying, I know you think you know why you're in the mud. You think it's because it rained.
Right.
But the real reason is that you consciously drove off the paved road because you were terrified of where the highway was taking you.
That is cognitive dissonance in action.
Okay, unpack that.
We create fake reasons to avoid looking at the engine of our own behavior. We focus on the friction, the bad boss, the lack of time, so we don't have to face the real reason, which is usually deeply uncomfortable.
So why do we do that? Why do we go out of our way to hide the real reason from ourselves?
Because the real reason almost always threatens your current identity.
Threatens our identity.
Yes. Think about the fear of success. People talk about the fear of failure all the time, but the fear of success is arguably much more paralyzing.
Wait, really? Fear of success?
Oh, definitely. If you actually succeed, if you break the pattern, your social baseline shifts. The people you hang out with might change.
Right.
The expectations placed on you will increase. The narrative you have built as the struggling underdog, that narrative dies. And your ego views that change as a literal threat to your survival.
It's like an autoimmune response of the ego.
That's a great way to put it.
The mind is basically attacking its own progress to keep the host in a familiar, quote-unquote, safe condition.
Exactly. So your brain manufactures these fake reasons to justify shutting down the progress. It says, oh, we can't apply for that promotion because we don't have time, when the real reason is we can't apply for that promotion because if we get it, we will have to take responsibility for our potential, and that is terrifying.
Oh, man. The fake reasons are the loud noises we make to drown out the quiet truth.
That's exactly what they are.
And finding that real reason requires precision. It requires being the locksmith. You have to, sit quietly with your own discomfort, analyze your behavioral loops, and identify the exact moment the pattern resets.
Yes, you have to watch the system reset.
You have to notice when the thermostat clicks off and ask yourself, what was I about to do right before I suddenly decided I was too tired?
That level of radical self-honesty is the only way to find the keyhole. You have to strip away the environmental excuses and look at your own active participation in the loop.
Wow. Okay, let me zoom out for a second, just make sure I'm capturing the full scope of this, because it is incredible how much psychological architecture is packed into this tiny phrase.
It's dense.
It is. We started with 12 words, excerpts from Unlocking the Patterns of Stagnation. The real reason you feel stuck in life.
A single sentence.
A single sentence. And by dissecting it, we've gone on a complete journey of behavioral mechanics. We started by validating that awful visceral sensation of feeling stuck spinning the tires.
Right.
But then we shifted our lens to see that this isn't just random bad luck, it's stagnation, a state of psychological homeostasis.
We move from the subjective pain to the objective mechanism.
Right. And then we discover the architecture, the patterns. We realize we aren't just sitting still in the mud. We are trapped in a high-energy cyclical orbit.
Yes.
We are the broken thermostat burning fuel to stay at the exact same temperature. And realizing that shifted our perspective entirely. We aren't helpless victims of circumstance. We are dealing with a structured biological program.
Which naturally dictated the solution for us. Unlocking.
Dropping the sledgehammer, turning off the brute force, picking up the lockpicks and becoming an active, precise detective in our own lives, searching for the real reason, the uncomfortable, hidden truth beneath all our polished excuses.
It represents a profound shift in personal agency.
It really does.
You go from being trapped by a chaotic world to being the only person holding the blueprint to the lock.
It's empowering, even if it requires facing down some heavy cognitive dissonance. So for you listening, as you navigate whatever area of your life feels like it's bogged down in thick mud or just looping in endless circles, remember that recognizing the pattern is the necessary first step.
You can't unlock a door if you refuse to admit it's there.
Exactly.
And as we wrap up, I want to connect this to the broader implications of how our minds work.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked extensively today about locks and patterns and these protective autoimmune responses of the ego. But consider this for a moment. If the feeling of being stuck is actually a structured pattern waiting to be unlocked, what if the lock itself isn't a trap designed to hurt you?
What do you mean?
What if that lock is a subconscious boundary you built yourself to protect yourself from the terrifying uncertainty of moving forward?
Wow. Are you trying to pick the lock on a door you secretly built to stay closed?
Exactly.
That brings us right back to our map in the wilderness. It turns out, we aren't just lost in the woods. We are the ones who planted the trees. Start listening for the clicks, find your real reason, and keep looking for your key. We'll see you on the next deep dive.